Milan, the imperial seat, 4th century AD. The panel shows the city map in Maximian's times overlapping the current Milan map. The continuous line marks the perimeter of the late Republican walls. The dotted pattern highlights the expansion of the walls eastwards and westwards desired by Maximian. The letters indicate the gates of the city, which stood in front of important connecting roads, while the numbers refer to the main monuments. In the 3rd century AD, when a collegial government based on two emperors, the Augusti, and two appointed successors, the Caesars, was established by the Emperor Diocletian's will, the empire was divided into 4 areas, and the Emperor Maximian chose Milan as his capital. The city thus became the seat of a magnificent court, and its urban planning was thoroughly renewed. The late Republican wall boundaries, with a perimeter of about 3.5 kilometers and consisting of sections of walls alternating with polygonal and square towers, some of which were placed next to the city gates, were expanded by Maximian eastwards and westwards. In the western area, the imperial district was enriched with the circus, protected by a segment of the surrounding walls. The city walls thus reached a perimeter of 4.5 kilometers. Let's start our tour by identifying the pattern of Maximian's city walls and spotting the location of the main gates. At the bottom, we can spot Vercellina Gate, letter A, which opened onto the road to Novara and Vercelli, currently in front of Corso Magenta. The gate was near the short side of the circus, number 1. Let's continue on the left along the wall's outline and find Iovia Gate, letter B, which opened onto the road to Lake Maggiore, now located in the area between Via San Giovanni sul Muro and Piazza Castello. Moving on upwards, we can spot Comacina Gate, letter C, which was on the road axis leading to Como. The starting segment of this road is traceable to the current Via Broletto, Via Ponte Vetero and Corso Garibaldi. Let's go up and start exploring the walls of Maximian's expansion, arriving at Nova Gate, letter D, which was on the road leading to Monza and Lecco, now close to Via Manzoni. Following the pattern of the walls to the right, we can find Argentia Gate, letter E, which opened onto the road axis that led to Bergamo and Brescia, now Corso Venezia. Let's turn to the right and, going down, reach the point where the western extension of the walls ends and continue along the path of the late Republican border. Going down, we arrive at Romana Gate, letter F, opening onto the road to Piacenza and Rome, now next to the current Corso di Porta Romana. Finally, following the pattern towards the bottom, we reach Ticinensis Gate, letter G, which opened onto the bifurcation of 2 roads, the first leading to Pavia, now Corso di Porta Ticinese, the second to Abbiategrasso and Vigevano, now Via Cesare Correnti. Maximian's walls continued around the long side of the circus, number 1. The curvilinear side of the circus was defensive and it bore loopholes, some of which are still preserved. The walls, damaged during the 5th and 6th centuries, have undergone major changes since the 8th century, when churches and monasteries were built against them. The siege of Frederick Barbarossa in 11,062 finally produced irreparable damage. Let's keep exploring the map, identifying the main monuments in the city. At the bottom, we can find the area of the Imperial Quarter, highlighted by a dotted surface in which we can distinguish the circus, number 1, and the representation building of the Imperial Palace, number 2. Moving on a little upwards and getting out of the Imperial Complex perimeter, we can find the theatre, number 3, erected during the Augustan times, from the end of the 1st century BC to the beginning of the 1st century AD. Going further up to the left, near Comacina Gate, we find the Horium, number 4, the great warehouse for the preservation of foodstuffs, built between the end of the 3rd and the beginning of the 4th century AD. Let's keep exploring the map and moving up to the right near the Argenteo Gate, now in the area between Corso Vittorio Emanuele and Corso Europa, we find the Herculean Baths, number 5, one of the most important monuments of late Roman Milan. The baths are called Herculean because they were indeed impressive and built by Emperor Maximian Herculius. The baths occupied an area of approximately 14,500 square meters, consisting of a vast open porch space, the gym, from which one could access imposing structures dedicated to different phases of the bath's elaborate ritual. The complex, heavily damaged by a fire, was probably abandoned in the 5th century AD. Let's keep exploring downward, and as we reach the heart of ancient Milan close to the current Piazza San Sepolcro, we find the Forum, number 6, dating back to the end of the 1st century BC, and the center of political, religious, administrative and business assets. The large rectangular square, paved and monumentalized during the Augustan era, was 55 by 160 meters. A portion of the original pavement, now inside the Ambrosian Library, and some tiles reused in the paving of the crypt of the Santo Sepolcro's church, are the only remains of this complex. Let's end our exploration by going to the right bottom side, near the Ticinensis Gate, letter G, outside the wall's perimeter and viewing the amphitheatre, number 7, built in the first decades of the 1st century AD.